get it while it's hot. The time has finally arrived. The RLCS 2026 season comes to a start. Early here in November of the year beforehand, the 2/3 rule is introduced. The most anticipated update in RLCS history for this developing region is here, and there's a big smile on my face for that very reason. Also because I'm sharing the booth with a wonderful man alongside me. It's my brother from another region, myself, Sir Pegasus, joined by Quanzek.
Hello, Mr. Pig. It's been a minute since we've been in the booth together, but it comes at the start of a brand new season. We don't have to wait till January this time around. We're getting started in November with some key rule changes, as you brought up. SSA now has the 2/3 rule enforced, so every single team that we're seeing here will have 2/3 of their roster be from the local region. No more imports. There will be one maybe on each one of these teams, but not whole rosters that are the bane of every community member's existence, and I think everybody is very happy for the change overall, besides maybe the old FUT roster.
Yeah, we're going to see those ping values on average drop quite a lot due to that 2/3 rule being in place. And we've actually got ourselves a 5th seed heading into today's action, which has led to a rather fortunate bracket. I feel like that is certainly inarguable. We get that first round bye. Start to go off in the upper semi-finals. We're going to play Palopes. That's going to be one up to interpretation after their sweeping victory versus Drillers. We still got to wait for that result between Fennec OF and UJ Esports. Motivation were able to grab themselves a win via DQ versus Ghost as well, so they're going to be waiting some time to get their first warm-up of the day. But I know that rounds have been warming up. Quanzek, they had a few scrim games earlier today against the likes of Cosmico, Willu and Cam's previous roster. And all I can say is there was a lot of success. I know that there's a little bit of reputation surrounding leaking scrims, but I'll be happy to do so with how favourable it is towards this round's roster.
I will 100% agree with you, Pig. I've seen some very good results coming out here for this team, and you know, they have a storied franchise behind them, but what is in front of them is this SSA initial action. It will be Rounds versus Pelopes. I'm going with Pelopes. That makes more sense to me. But introducing formally our Rounds roster here. Renshiro, Willu, and Cam. And on the other side, Pelopes will be Coindalian, Giovanni, and Suezinho.
I made a little bit of a joke off stream to Hazard before you ever joined the VC, and I saw that there was going to be a huge influx of different flags as players of their region actually feel like that they can represent Sub-Saharan Africa, but I feel like I'm actually with my fellow American here, where I recognize Portugal, and the rest, I could not tell you exactly what those regions are. But I'll be interested to see how they're able to perform. They don't quite have the same caliber of names behind them, like Renshiru, Willu, and Cam. So hopefully, this should be a rather favorable first series. But the wait is finally over. The 2/3 rule has arrived, and the region is united. A new era reaches its anticipated start. Welcome to the RLCS 2026 season.
I'm so happy to be here, Pig. I'm so excited to get into this Rocket League action 2026 SSA 2/3 rule. It's like the perfect storm is coming together to make what should be the best version of Rocket League yet. Here, Rounds will be the roster that we are following, that has been touted moving over from APAC. They had some good showings there, but now looking to take up the crest in SSA and start things off with a bang here in our double elim.
Well, we talk about the rise of SSA, and typically the flag that does come to mind is, of course, South Africa. That is where Cam comes from, but there's been a rise of another region, and that's going to be the French territory. That is Reunion Island. That's where Willu resides, and any of these French-speaking countries, we know that they are chock full to the brim of talent, and that tiny island is absolutely no stranger. Although the first goal on our screens, unfortunately, will be a concession in the opening minutes as Giovanni to take it inside. Renshiro just beaten towards that 50-50. First goal going in, best of 5, however, by the way, in the double elimination days. Quanzek, I'm not going to set the alarm bells off too early.
Does it drop to best of 3 and lowers, or is it best of 5 all the way through? I'm assuming it does.
What? I believe it's only for round 1, and the rest is completely best of 5. So we are guaranteed that we are going to play Rocket League, as I like to say, as the Lord intended. Proper Rocket League best of 5 minimum, going up to those 7s, only for those hybrid brackets a little bit later down the line, with some of these of course, power rankings that have been going around, favouring rounds for those positions. It's usually around the, I would say, 4th to 8th mark. People have been rating rounds. Of course, I believe that they can go that little bit further and make a grand final, but it does start with, you know, beating Pelopes in your first round of the season.
Yeah, I do agree with you there, and I think that ranking is pretty apt. You know, this roster has some juice in it, and having that ranking as a standstill coming in means you can grow, you can work together, you can figure out better ways to overcome the difference. Renshiro can get used to playing on this higher ping. That'll be a big part of it as well. I guess he did play in APAC, but I'd hazard that this ping here might be higher than what he experienced previously. I think he's around 180 over in APAC. He was staying at 140, give or take. So some more adjusting to do, and Rounds looking to adjust their way offensively, try to find some sort of goal here. They've been mounting the pressure, but no real shots to show for it yet. Fake flip by Cam. That's good defense, though, on the back end by Pelopes, and Willu will do what he can to slow down the breakout from Pelopes. Back in comes Cam. Good collection. Can he take it all away? Cam bullies his way through, and that will be the equalizer.
Can he do it? Yes, he can. It's an individual effort versus 2 players. It's a cheeky beat on the first, but he keeps it simple for the second. And Cam's a player that I've got a lot of excitement for after that last season. It was a bit of a topsy-turvy affair with Cosmico, especially heading into that second split, but paired alongside Willu once more, and Renshiro rounding off that roster. This is a professional, mature looking side. I expect progress throughout the entirety of this season. This is not going to be a team that's going to slow down at any point. Renshiro, just as I mentioned, increasing the pace here for this attack round, looking to build up that momentum now. That first goal was pure charity, but now it's time to get the job done.
They look like they're knocking on the door here. Cam, a little bit of pop-up touch to keep this offensive going. Great demo on the way out. That's heads-up Rocket League by this team, recognizing, hey, I'm not in the play anymore, but I can still contribute. Great pass over, and Shiro gonna collect, and he'll go top right.
Straight to that top corner, postage stamp to the Swiss stage. It's going to be 48-hour delivery after the series they're going to have to play post this one. But for Lopez, what a start they were able to have, but this is round getting warm into their new lobbies. Of course, Renshiro has been doing his fair amount of scrims on these servers, but to get the day started, here he is in the action with all that pressure behind him of the actual RLCS opening event. But look how cool, calm and collected Cam looks. Another wonderful individual effort from him. His ground game has to be studied, as does this shot from Giovanni, breaking past the finish man.
Unfortunately, I do believe this is a save from Renshiro on better ping. The jump is just a little bit delayed, and that's that sacrifice of reaction time that you're losing, playing down as the 1/3 in this region. And that will equalize things up here for rounds. And Shiro on the back wall. We'll gonna go ahead and take over. Cam chasing this down. Good drop. Giovanni. Okay, Renshiro and Cam will combine. Just content to get that out of the half. And somehow it's made its way all the way down. Cam can't climb the ladder, but Willu can. And 3-2 go rounds.
The local boys connect. It was fortunate on that first touch over, but Cam did well to set up his teammate. Willu positions himself perfectly. I mean, it was a shot powerful enough to destroy the party. The fabrics of sub-Saharan Africa simply cannot handle it. But hold on in a set-up play. Got a player now named by a full stop. Kondalian will take it over out wide. Giovanni will be waiting inside behind him. A full tank of boost and plenty of space in the air there. Quickly shut down by Willu. One boost picked up once more. And he's got the whole pitch to try and cover. Saw all three orange cars in front of him, but he couldn't even get past the first.
A little bit of a haphazard touch here by Cam. Not just the first, but the second as well. Puts this ball in a really precarious situation, but they do clear their way out, and they just can bleed down this clock. That is rounds. 10 seconds left. That will begin to count down. Kondalian can't find the double from the sidewall. Renshiro just going to try to steer it to the outskirts. Challenge Giovanni. This one's a bit dangerous, though. Cam has to climb the ladder. Racing to that one, back towards the wall. Cam, great heads-up touch, parking himself on the back wall. A pop-up touch, but it will hit the turf. In rounds in their opening game of the RLCS 2026 season will collect a W.
This is going to be an incredible season, Quanzac, to follow rounds. They're already such an entertaining roster. We call that throwing for content, ladies and gentlemen. They saw themselves behind for quite some time, but when the going got tough, Cam especially stood up for the roster. Lots of individual efforts there when it came to that ground game. Got that assist as well to Willu later in the lineup. And now heading into this second game with momentum behind rounds, I'm sure we're going to start to see those performances that we very much expected from the 5th seed on this run.
And the fact that we already in this game one saw some flares of connection from this team, I'm thinking about that second goal, the infield pass down into the top right slots, situations like that where this team is just beginning to earn their budding chemistry. They're going to start building from their pick, and if that's ground zero, not our dear commentator and friend, I don't see him on the pitch, but instead
the organization.
Oh, that one too. If that's where they're building from, if this is their base block, then they are the ceiling is untapped for this team. I think they can go straight through it, and breach not just that grand finals that we were talking about, but hazard those top teams for the major spot.
And again, I don't want to get into too many details, but it has actually been tested off stream in a few of their setups heading towards this event. But of course, scrims are one thing. When you're actually playing in the RLCS and you've got that pressure behind you and you are on the mainstream, which hopefully, surely exists down the line, you still have to be able to perform. Renshiro cuts in here from the corner. Willu was a bit shallow on the play, so instead has to run himself towards that far post. An early jump here coming from Camber Challenge. He's about 50 from Giovanni. Renshiro can't get that ball past, but Willu is positioned perfectly behind him. The rotations are solid right now. Every single blade of grass seems covered, and Lopez unable to cope with the pressure. One challenge though, that can make the difference. That's Rocket League, ladies and gentlemen.
That is the definition. I mean, Cam, just a little bit too cute with it. You basically set that ball up on a tee for the defense to challenge, knowing nobody's behind you. It could have looked really creative if they had been able to find a pass through, but instead, Lopez coming in and punishing Renshiro off the sidewall following this initial kickoff, and that's a great fake. Maybe that's what Cam was looking to accomplish, but a little bit of redemption arc for him there. Renshiro just fakes the touch. Cam swoops in and beats Giovanni to the ball, one apiece.
Straight down the center as well. Made that look as clean as possible. Really satisfied when a goal explosion comes off like that, and I'm sure we're going to see many of those throughout this season. What prospects do Rounds have by the end of it? Such a strong side, both in their sub-Saharan African aspect and their European aspect as well. You've got a player in Renshiro who's so used to, at this point, playing RLCS with that ping disadvantage, and for a player that's so reliant on those 50-50s and those ground games, you'd think especially that would go against his favour, but it is second nature to him at this point.
Yeah, it's akin to breathing, the amount of hours that these players have in this game, the amount of effort they've put in, just about having that time and experience show on paper in the score box afterwards. Cam, uncontested in the air, only has Quindalian in front of him, but Suezinho will be back in order to collect that save. Giovanni off the ceiling, gets a little bit of a double. They're going to try to stay with it and will beat Cam, but no follow-up means that Lopez will just have to stay locked down on defense. Cam would have been a great redirect pass. You saw him trying to bounce that one off of the ceiling and back down, but Rounds will have to go back to the drawing board to see what they can find offensively. Renshiro and Cam do double, but Cam will be able to clear this one out from Rounds half and register a shot on the back end.
Renshiro once more controls that ball upwards, unchallenged on the initial touch, but a flip reset prevents him from being able to make use of his extra resources. Giovanni takes that dribble forward, has that back wall to try and bounce it off of. Renshiro doesn't allow it to reach that far in the first place. It's a lovely mind game with that first touch for two touches as well, able to beat that second man. Now is Willu back on that ball, doesn't have much to use, but still has a full teammate in Cam, who has been so promising so far in this opening matchup. The full stop name himself, looking to try and silence the Rounds defense, but Cam will be shouting from the rooftops glory to SSA. A save from Willu comes out. Giovanni's looking for that pass back, but this is a much nullified offense, especially after that demo.
This has been hard fought. It's a tight-knit competition running down to the remaining 100 seconds of this game. Cam back wall pass, but Renshiro doesn't want to bite. Recognizes if he goes, they could get burned, similar to how they did in the first goal. And having that one go the length of the field and just sailing in for free. Quindalian beats two with the single flip. Great challenge by Renshiro on that one, knowing he'd be more aggressive as the third man with Willu all the way back. Great challenge. This one just going to roll in. It will! Length of the field from a low 50, and Rounds will get the go-ahead goal.
One bolt action snipe across the full length of the pitch.
It was off of
Rounds have been waiting for that opportunity for quite some time, and those 50s were so strong. I mean, it was ping-ponging inside that 6-yard box for quite some time. It was looking, at times, rather intimidating for the Rounds defense, but despite the pressure they've had against them, Quanzek, the defense has been incredible.
Agreed. And I think, you know, having that tested early is essential. We see a lot of these double elim days, maybe not this season, but in previous ones, where it's just an absolute rout all the way up until Swiss stage. That one will go wide left. Lopez almost able to get the equalizer. Great challenge by Giovanni here, actually keeping the pressure on. But rounds, once again, you just brought up, their defense tested it, just got tried again here, and they will hold stalwart. There's not really shots getting opportunities on net. They're being thrown there, but they're not legitimate scoring opportunities. They're just tallies that are getting recorded as a score point, but nothing actually threatening to equalize things. And now with only 20 seconds left on the clock, rounds might have done the job.
15 seconds remain. Lopez will feel like they need a miracle. Perhaps Willow on 0 boost exactly what they need. If a demo lands and Giovanni looks to try and take that pass forward instead, only reaches around player dot. Might have to go for a Psycho. The second touch doesn't land. The ball bounces heavily towards that ground. Remains its height as a bunch up in that front corner. But rounds ultimately put themselves into a match point position. And this round roster, this lineup is living up to everything we could ask for here, Quonsec. The solidity that this team can offer is put to the test. But when it comes to that offensive third, efficient as can be.
I completely agree, and that's the name of the game right now. I mean, they don't ask how, they ask how many. Even though they've been close 1-goal deficits here early on, rounds are still coming out with the wins, and that's what matters. The clutch factor, being able to hold on through thick and thin and find the small nuanced ways in order to get an edge. Slowly find your progression through this game, and in doing so, incrementally stack your advantages until you walk away with that victory. That's exactly what rounds did, just held on defensively. When they had their opportunities in the other end of the pitch, they capitalize. Even if it is a weird 50 that goes off your own teammate and into their net, it whatever works. You know, maybe that's just in the playbook, Pig. We don't know what this team's cooking up yet.
Certainly not, but that's why I'm excited to just sit back and see what they're capable of. You look at those first two results, of course they're 1-goal games, but ultimately you have to be able to get that job done, and they saw that game out perfectly. They didn't overcommit. They knew that they could just sit back, run down that clock, play the long balls if they need to, although for the most part it was actually those close plays and those 50-50s that made the difference in their favour. And now moving forward, hopefully that consistency can continue, because it doesn't matter if you're winning 10-0, 2-1, 1-0, it doesn't matter that difference. They are all worth the same. Rounds with that 2-game advantage. 3 chances now to get that job done and put themselves into the final stage.
Double demo start here. Lopez trying to find, they've recognized, you know what? We're having trouble getting this ball into the back of the net. Let's just find another way. And their answer has been physicality. 3 demos already raining out in the initial 25 seconds. But it may not matter when you have passing plays like this.
There's power towards the players. Rounds show you power behind the ball. Willow blasts that towards the back of the net, and at that point, placement did not matter. Lopez watched that one slip through their fingertips, and rounds open up the score. But how about a double up? Save forced out here by Giovanni. Cam wants to take it off that back wall. Quindalian keeps him alive for just a few seconds longer, but you can see Willow preparing to pounce after picking up that corner boost, and it is back in that dangerous half for this blue side. Load around, ladies and gentlemen. There are still a few more shots to take.
And they're trying. There's one from Renshiro. Another one will be collected here shortly. Cam and field to Renshiro, and that one won't just be a shot, it will also be a goal. The patience here from Cam to pass that the last second so that Renshiro could then thread the needle. If that pass happens sooner, there's a defenseman that goes towards the net instead of at the ball. But because Cam held it, that window opened and Renshiro wasn't gonna miss.
This stage was, of course, a best of 3 in previous seasons. With the new changes, it's now a best of 5. Not like you're going to see those extra games. Rounds look to get this done in this sweep. It's their strongest performance of the night. One more quick connection. Cam makes it 3.
Took 2 games, and now this roster is firing on all cylinders. That challenge over on the sideball to have that ball ricochet perfectly. And of course, Cam is at the ready to collect. Swayzino and Cam on this opening kickoff. Giovanni now gets it off a set play. Can he do something? Can he try to stem the bleeding here? Figure out a way for this Pelopas roster to stay alive in the upper bracket of open number 1. Instead, Cameron Shiro will both say after you. Their gentlemaness is discredited because neither one of them actually made contact, but it goes unpunished. And now Rounds looking for a 4th Renshiro. Shot on, answered by Giovanni.
That's when you start to see their personalities bleed into their gameplay. The 3 nicest players possibly in the scene. Of course, we've known Renshiro for quite some time. Go for that after you play. I must say it was an absolute miracle that Pelopas didn't find the target. They do in this instance, but Willu, 0 boost, 0 problems, tips that one off the post. Another shot flies towards that net. It was slightly wide, but Cam still makes sure to put it in an area of safety. A heavy touch force out with Giovanni. Does well for the recovery. Quendalian's on that back foot. Cam looks to find some more space inside. But the only inside he'll find is that post. Renshiro, double tap. Style point stolen by the Reunion player.
How that first one stayed out, I couldn't tell you. But Rounds have come alive in this game 3. Renshiro a little bit too sharp on that double, but his teammate was there to say, I got your back. And while our first 2 games were close, they were played down to the wire 1-goal differences for both of them. The dam has been completely blown open, and the flood is happening. Cam, look at that play! So selfless, recognizes that trying to steer that in for a goal is such a low percentage play. He can just tap it out for free to Renshiro and get a 5th on the board for Rounds.
And a player has left the lobby. There goes the 2nd. There goes the 3rd. It's game over. A sweeping victory in the first matchup of the day. Ping certainly favoured Rounds. It was 140 minimum for all of the Pelopas players. If I speak, I'm in big trouble. But what an opening performance there from Rounds. And I love Renshiro trying to allow his teammates to thrive there in that last game with that double tap. I'm sure that was calculated towards his teammates.
Yeah, of course. There's no other reason.
Of course.
That's okay.
I mean, this is just what he brings. I mean, it was that after you mentality that we saw in the defense. It's at times that I do want to see a little bit of extra ego from the players. This wasn't quite ego in this matchup, but it was certainly confidence. 3 players ready to press themselves up high. They trusted every single passing opportunity that they could get themselves on the end for. Those first 2 games may have been tough, but the 3rd, my goodness, Quonsec, Rounds showed their true colors, and it's a big green tick from me.
Yeah, it's the green check mark will match that of their color scheme. I mean, that was as bright as you could get. Really, really great opening series. They showed the perseverance in the tight games, and in game number 3, looked like this team is firing on all cylinders. They dropped the nerves. They dropped the new season rust, whatever it may have been. They looked elite in game number 3, and I'm excited to see that carry not just to finish out today, but into our Swiss stage for tomorrow. This roster has some juice, and I cannot wait to watch along with their journey here, Pig.
Absolutely, Quonset. There's still another series to wait for, though. It's going to be Fennec OF versus Zero Motivation. Can't say the same about Rounds. This is a team that looks charged. They look motivated. They're ready to play. They're ready to take down this region. A majority SSA side. But who isn't? Maybe some of these teams in the first round. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you for what is hopefully the final series of the day after this very short ad break.
What if I told you, from now on, the only thing you need for gaming is this desk? Uneven Base is a complete esports setup. It includes a powerful computer, keyboard, mouse, and monitor, all in one lightweight build. Uneven Base is foldable, portable, and easy to set up. Perfect gaming experience wherever you want. And of course, yeah, there's RGB. Uneven Base. Now it's about you.
Pidä taloutesi hallinnassa pelin sisällä ja sen ulkopuolella.
Siis mikä voi olla niin tärkeää, että äijä ei näy 2 viikkoon? Äijä on tullut takaisin. No niin, let's go. Pitkästä aikaa pelikenttä.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen.
Way too many faces in the crowd, but I think that I see you. One too many days got me changing up the way that I need you. Now we're both at a bar, acting like it's not hard, trying to feel something different. Talk to somebody new, kinda wish it was you, kinda numb to the feeling. Now that you're gone, they say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months and I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to. I can't seem to. Not that you're I can't seem to. I can't seem to. Laying on my floor, thinking about all the things that we've been through. From 24/7 to pretending like I never met you. No, it's all for the best, 'cause I know we're a mess every time we're together. Going out of my mind, and I wish I could lie, tell you that it gets better. Now that you're gone, they say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months where I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to. I can't seem to. I can't seem
Welcome back to the stream, ladies and gentlemen. It was a wonderful first series for the night. We're still waiting on that second one to be prepared, so hopefully we can get ourselves qualified for that Swiss stage with that upper seeding. Looking nice to get ourselves into that GSL and eventually those top 8s. But we've played the ads that we are required to do so. Did you know that with Uneven, you can have everything you need in just your desk? Quantec, have you heard of that? It's unbelievable. It's awesome. But we believe here at RDR Prod that, come on, guys, we want to actually have a production. We want to be on screen. We don't want this to be 90% break. We want to give you guys at home something to listen to as well. And especially, Quan, when there's a season with so much to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, we finally get to talk about SSA again. The conversation for SSA for a couple years now has been imports. Oh, they need to change the rule. Oh, I'm so frustrated. My phone's falling down. My camera's slipping. I'll do this instead. Resaddle up. Yeah, the conversation for a couple years has been just all about imports. It's been how frustrated the SSA region has been. It's been, we want to highlight our players. And yeah, if you really want to pick apart the silver lining, it was like, oh, well, you're playing EU players who, like, technically should be better competition, but they're playing here because they can't compete in EU, like, because they're frauds. Anyways, that's all out the window. We're back to actual SSA Rocket League, Pig, and that's what we really want to highlight here. The rosters that are here, maybe a little bit of some power rankings, and just getting back to what we know and love for this region.
The energy is so much different as well. I mean, I hope he's watching, but Greybeard, the light in your eyes has returned in the last few months. During that last season, the poor man looked tired. He didn't think it was ever going to happen. And then there was just a moment where you could just see that light return. We all got a little bit suspicious. We were like, Greybeard, what's all of this about? Futos still representing the region at Worlds. And then, of course, he couldn't help himself. Had a few mentions that maybe something was coming. And ever since that announcement, he has been bouncing off the walls again. And as have I. But that has introduced a very specific environment where now those that we would have not looked at too fondly in previous seasons now can unite with these local talents and properly train them up. And there is a lot of impact on that choice of import player as well, which has certainly had an effect on those power rankings, which we do have a little bit of access of. The wonderful guys of Esports Watch, Czar, Greybeard, Bromeo and Altruism did put together a little document that was for the most part public voted and also caster predicted as well. It's a combination of both to try and see who the best teams are supposed to be in this region. Konzek, it's like a pretty good for rounds.
Yeah, they are saddled up on this list, and they look, according to both the crowdsource and caster vote, they ended up in 6th spot, which in the top 8 is what we were expecting, and that's just a little bit of a chip on the shoulders that the rounds guys can take through with them, that they were 5 teams ranked ahead of them, and there's going to be a lot of nuance and switch up in how this plays out, and that's purely based off of, they used a little bit of a confidence rating here for everybody that didn't see the pull-up, as thank you to Mr. Hazaprod for getting that on screen. The confidence, what I'm referencing here, is that number off to the right, C and F, that whole column there. That's basically a rating of where the consensus was. A higher number means more people were sure that they would finish in that position. So Synthesis at the bottom, people ranked them everywhere. KC Pioneers and Cosmico, very confident that they would finish in 1st and 3rd. And Got and Org will be rounds here on this list at number 6. But the confidence is 26, which makes me curious to see if this was a higher rating, this was a lower rating. we will just see as the course of the season plays out. But based off this initial series, I would hazard that we could move them up 1 or 2 spots.
Yeah, absolutely. They did have a bit of a show match. I believe it was on Pyro J's channel that didn't go particularly amazing in Rounds' favour, but ever since they've been on that grind yet again, and I have seen some very favourable results towards them. But with that 26 confidence rating they have right next to them, Quanzek, it means that there was a fair bit of range about them, a bit of a standard deviation, we would call it in mathematics here, where there were plenty of people that were rating them higher than 6, but surprisingly there were plenty of people rating them lower than 6th as well. I'm not sure I quite agree with that, but many people heading into this season, Quanzek, favoured really 2 teams to be those consistent grand finalists. And if you look at that rating as well, it is a relative scale to try and dictate how good we think these teams are based on who they place out first. KC Pioneers take that spot, and the team in second, that was potentially KC Pioneers, sits right behind them. That's going to be your Snowy Guns and Tekos team for No Name Team. And I believe that it is Lewis P to Die For and Sweaty to take that top spot. That is a very tough 2 teams to try and find any difference between, but the casters' vote and the public vote have decided that that is the order to go for.
Yep, and we'll pull up our super low-res grainy image. It's the only one we have access to of this Excel spreadsheet of all the actual rosters. But what Pig was just highlighting is that KC Pioneers roster, To Die For, Sweaty, Louis P, I mean, more or less evolved Limitless. And I do want to harp on a point that you brought up before we started the segment of the choice of third man. A lot of these higher competing teams do have an import on them. There is 1 import and the other 2 will be local talent. And you brought up the weight of who they choose to bring, you know? That matters a lot in terms of not just stylistic ability, but leadership, how mature they are. That can sway things a whole lot. You're looking at somebody like Louis P, who mechanical masterclass more often than not, absolute expert in the one scene. He has a lot of individual prowess behind him, and when you back that up with To Die For and Sweaty, who have been the stalwarts of the SSA region for so long, that's the type of impact that can have with rounds in and of themselves. Pulling in Renshiro, I mean, the type of player that he is going to transform this roster in a different way than another player would. And that's an interesting strategical decision that I feel like hasn't been talked about enough with the introduction of the 2/3 rule.
Yeah, I have to agree. I did actually have an idea for maybe something we could do during one of these streams one day during a break section, because like I said, I would rather that we fill the time instead of break screens. I'm not sure if we would make many friends doing this content, but I would love to do a tier list of SSA imports specifically because of how important that 3rd spot truly is. But like I said, we'd certainly be making enemies if we did do that list. But I do want to have a little bit of a talk about some of those players. You've got the Hungarian giant, that is Bibba, joining the mix. He actually played in that show match versus rounds that did go, I believe, 4-1 against their favour just before the actual org announcement came through. But I'm sure now that they're wearing their colours, of course, that is going to give them a buff. But I'm also looking at players like Steak, who I never really expected to ever be playing in SSA. He's an extremely strong player, certainly capable of competing in EU, and he's got his bubble that he's played with for quite some time now, whether it is these European tournaments. I see them playing in actually any Rocket Baguette inspired events that are open to outside the French community. He is always playing there as well. You usually see him alongside the likes of Rai, the likes of Dorito, of Of course, Tekos is within the mix as well, but Rubik's also returns, this time with a very different feeling around him now that he's got two of those SSA talents right alongside. But a final player that I really want to shout out is the Dutchman himself, Inspire, who's been competing in every single tournament he can for the past, I want to say, 2 and a bit years now. And he has actually spent all of his RLCS career at this point in sub-Saharan Africa, and he did not have the greatest reputation in previous seasons because, of course, it was not alongside a South African team. But hold on a minute here. News in from Renshiro. Inspire's team has actually DQ'd.
That's news for sure. I wonder how that's happened.
Yeah.
That's the DQ thing is much less important than how. Like, somebody just oversleep or things going awry to start.
Con, I've got a story for you. So Oceania happened just a few hours ago. The second seeded team in the region DQ'd in their first round. The players were available, they just forgot. They just forgot to check in and went to lowers and had to play 5 best of 5s in a row to get themselves to the Swiss stage. And because they were the second seeded team, that guaranteed them ninth seed, and now they have to play wildcard in round 1 tomorrow, which is just hilarious. I wanted to throw that out there just because you mentioned DQ, and that is the DQ story of the world right now. It was unbelievable. Shout out Money, who had an incredible stream where he just sat there confused as to why he had to spend an extra 2 hours casting this second seeded team, and they played a team like Labubu Esports or something ridiculous. It was an incredible time, and maybe we'll see a similar story from Inspire. Oh yeah, and also the players blamed Money for not telling them that it was match time, which I would say is not their responsibility concept. But
how are you that tuned out that you're not checking it? It's your tournament. You're telling me you're putting that on the actual person doing the stream? What are we doing here? That is wild. That's fun, dude. At least they got there. It would have been so much more devastating if they DQ'd and then lost at one point during that lower bracket run. So,
yeah, it was apparently, though, also a DQ in lowers here for Inspire's roster. So Labosh will not be progressing to the Swiss stage, and that's quite unfortunate for that roster, because I was actually extremely interested to see how they would be able to compete, but I guess we'll just have to see how this progresses. Cosmico, I want to give a little shout out to Cosmico here, because they had a little bit of shuffling around, let's just say, in the background. They introduced themselves a substitute to the mix, a player that I really do believe just should be playing, but there's a lot of confidence that, of course, Cosmico are going to be able to go the full distance here and get themselves into those higher spots. I mean, with a confidence rating of 64, the highest that we saw on that rating at all. They actually sit in 3rd place behind those 2 clear-cut top 2 teams at an 84 relative rating to KC Pioneers as well, so fair play to them. But yeah, Galaxy being signed as a substitute for the roster as a last-minute transfer. Not really what you'd come to expect, especially in a season where you really have that opportunity to make a name for yourself on the pitch.
Yeah, there could be external circumstances too that we don't understand. Maybe a team fell through. Maybe Galaxy just does not doing something in real life where there's a higher time commitment there. Doesn't want to sign on as a full active player. Who knows? I will say though, Galaxy being that super sub is kind of terrifying, especially when that roster already consists of players as good as it is. It should be a very fun team to watch moving forward, and whether or not he takes it, he could supersede somebody. You get somebody who's sick or can't play or can't show up, and Galaxy steps in, and all of a sudden, it's like, whoa, We have way more flair now on this team than we did before. The potential's there.
Yeah, absolutely, but it's a wonderful roster for the remainder of it as well. You've got Stake acting as that import player. Again, he doesn't need to be here whatsoever, but has decided to with a really rounded off roster of Jeff and Ravi alongside him. So I know they're third, Quan. I know they're third, and obviously that's an extremely high placement, but arguably a sleeper pick because they've just not been in that conversation for that top teams. But of course, you've got former Limitless players and Tekos and Lewis P thrown in the mix as well. That's certainly gonna take the region off its balance.
Yeah, that's the biggest monkey wrench you could throw into everything. Like, there's so many with these import players. Rosters that already had some spice, some juice, all of a sudden, like, depending on who they signed, it makes things way more interesting to look at regarding, can they take that team to the extra level? Because there are players here that are coming in from other regions that can do that on a good day. I mean, Louis P, Renshiro, you brought up Stake. Like, there are individuals who can make this happen. And that's before we even start talking about the local talent that finally gets their proper chance to shine. Like, you're talking about Stake teaming with Ravi, who I got to follow with Rhino last year on Trifecta. Like, that's a mean 1-2 duo. That's going to be a fun team to watch. I'm not surprised that they got the props to finish third that confidently. That should be a very fun team that can fight for it every single open.
And you'd hope at this point now that these players are forced to scrim with the rest of the talent. I mean, your roster is 2/3 SSA. You are scrimming in SSA on SSA servers, whereas when you did have these full European teams, they would just scrim Europeans. I mean, why would they scrim against SSA players unless they wanted to practice on ping? And let's be honest, most people don't particularly want to play on ping. Now, if you are going to be here for SSA, you are going to be embedded in the culture, and that includes being in these servers. But for me, the biggest aspect of this season, other than, just the overall vibe shifts to professionally call it, and in the general atmosphere here with a lot of happier terms against a lot of these European players, we can actually look at these sub-Saharan African talent, Quantac, and we can go, oh, they can actually compete now. Not compete against each other, I mean compete in the region. We even had Limitless last season to die for Sweaty and Snowy, where we were looking for them. We were like, yeah, it's a good team. It's good SA talent. They're not beating Foot. They're not coming number one. They're not going that full distance. So now we can actually look at players with some confidence. But Quantac, we've actually got a little bit of an advancement here on the bracket. The matchup has been decided, and no wonder we waited so long, Quantac. Fenico F and Zero Motivation went the distance.
Yeah, it had to be 5. Probably an overtime or 2 thrown in there. They're the ones single-handedly holding back the bracket at the moment, but Fennec OF will advance. And we can get ready for a sultry upper final here, Pig.
Certainly, and this is going to be the one where I will test my American on his flag knowledge here. I'm happy to say that I do recognize him this time. Rounds versus Fenico, Renchiro, Willu, and Cam versus Nick. I'm going to go for Marcos and Super Gamer 6920. That sounds like a name to be feared, but the question we're all really asking is, Quantac, my American friend, how's your geography?
That's the Kenya flag. Or Nick and Super Gamer. I don't know what we're going with Marcos. I don't know that flag.
I believe it's Estonia, and if I'm wrong now, that's going to be extremely embarrassing. I have been clarified by the producer, but I am correct in that regard. So we can give ourselves a little bit of a pat on the back here. Estonia, pretty far away from sub-Saharan Africa. I'm going to be interested to see what kind of ping he will have in this matchup. Marcos, not a player that I am aware of. I have seen some of the high-level Estonian games. I've got my friends Sezon and Fish that do compete in those Estonian leagues, so perhaps they'll be telling me after this stream that this is someone that I should have given a little bit of more runtime towards, but he's just going to have to prove that against this star-studded rounds roster.
So, we have an Estonian player here, and you said they're far away from Sub-Saharan Africa. Is there a player that's further away from Sub-Saharan Africa than Renshiro? Finland's got to be as far north as you can get, right?
It's very unlikely.
He has to take the crowd for the furthest distance competing in this region after the 2/3 rule.
Yeah, absolutely. But he's got that practice. I mean, he's played in APAC for an entire season now with pretty good success there as well. Plenty of main events, some top 8, I believe a top 6 is well in there in Split 1, if memory serves me correctly. But, of course, facing these opponents, they are going to have to stand up to their full event.
See, that's the thing, Pig. Despite that game going to Game 5, allegedly, the series has just been reset on start. And I don't know if it was input incorrectly. I don't know if there's some sort of fault. I don't know if something was reported to the admin. I don't know if it needs to be re-reported. But we technically do not have an official matchup right now. So, we might do a little bit of digging, figure out... temporarily, we did have one. Are things getting reported? Do we have updates?
Slowly. We just heard there from producer... Okay, it is confirmed that Fennec 1, they don't get a free shout-out here on the Rounds channel. We usually charge for that contact if you're not going to make these matchups, of course. There's an appearance fee. But,
we're not gonna
they've earned their spots here. I'm not sure if it was Game 5. I'm not sure how it happened. But, either way, sure they're deserving of this spot. And if it wasn't Game 5 contact, what on earth was taking them that long?
I don't know. I don't know. It's the longest addition to a Swiss stage. I can't remember many Game 5s in a Swiss stage in a double elim period. But the one, Game 5s that take nearly an hour to play, usually a Game 5 series that's not streamed at most is 45 minutes. And we're talking about an hour.
Yeah.
There had to be multiple 5-minute OTs in that series. I don't know what happened.
There's definitely some shenanigans there, and we'll see if that will extend our series as well, or if those bugs are going to come to an end once rounds start to get themselves squishing. Willow and Cam have been in excellent form so far, especially in that third game we were able to witness of Series 1, but it's been quite the break contact. Let's hope that momentum hasn't started to derail in this time away. I know that Renshiro has certainly been in our Twitch chat. I'm not sure if that's the free playing hands warming we need, but maybe that typing is doing the job for him.
The words per minute gotta be pretty high in order to keep those fingers warm. This dude is putting out 160 words per minute if those fingers are gonna stay as warm as they need to. But we do appreciate the love in our intermission segment here, Renshiro, and we can go ahead and get back in free play, though. I'd love to not lose a little bit of pace headed into our second series.
I mean, we spoke about responsibility that's on the team streamers earlier today. We won't tell you to check in, Renshiro, but we'll tell you to get back in free play and prepare for the next matchup. That's the role we're willing to take. Especially, look, it's a cold day in the UK right now. I can only imagine what it's like right now further north over in Finland.
Yeah, no, that's true. I was hearing from my Finnish friend that they just got their first bit of snow, at least in the southern parts of Finland. They got, he said, about 3 centimeters of snow. So I have no idea what region of Finland Renshiro lives in, but I know for my friend, snow was on the way. And you know what, Renshiro, you got double the work to do. For Willow and Cam, they're nice and toasty. And SSA right now, you're the one dealing with winter.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be a lot of pressure on his side here because he already has to step up as that European player on the roster. We spoke about how that, with it being now a restricted spot, you want to make sure you pick the right one. I mean, I'm going to, for the first time, I think, ever on an RLCS broadcast, somewhat compare this to Pokemon VGC. You get 1 restricted Pokemon and 2 restricted Pokemon. You're going to make sure that it's the best one available. And I feel like Renshiro is certainly in these standings. He can be your Zacian, if you like, here for the roster. Pure attack, ready to get that action done. He's got that high speed as well of play, those solid 50-50s, a bit of physicality behind him. And that's what this roster alongside Willu and Cam needs. I mean, this roster is built up to be the most entertaining side that SSA has to offer. I hope that we are going to get all those watch parties over here because, come on, if you're not watching this stream, what are you doing? But just a reminder of those 2 rosters. It's going to be the 2 Kenyans of Nick and Super Gamer 6920 alongside the Estonian Marcos to take on this round side.
We'll give you the pass to tune into Greybird's stream. Outside of that, it has to be ours.
Absolutely.
There's the only 2 places that you can be. Have both open. That's the better solution.
True. You can have a multi-stream, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that's exactly what Mr. SSA himself is doing. Perhaps you can do that as well. If you do have those, if you do want to watch another broadcast, perhaps have those multi-streams. Sure, you can watch your Unities, your Cosmico, but as long as we're on a second monitor, we're very happy, and I'm sure you will be as well once that gameplay gets put on the pitch. We are waiting for that point, but Fennec OF are still yet to check in. And they are actually the team that played all the series today. We did speak about earlier in the bracket, there was a team that had a DQ victory, so auto-qualified into that semi-final. It was actually Zero Motivation Crew that had that advantage. Instead, Fennec OF, well, I guess you could say this is an advantage contact, had that first series of warm-up where they got a sweeping victory, and then whatever on earth happened in the semi-finals, it's currently reported as a 1-0. Who knows? Maybe there was an admin decision even.
I don't. That's so strange. The fact that it got reported and then reset for whatever reason is beyond weird to me. I don't know what happened. But all that matters is we will be playing Fennec OF. They will be facing off against rounds, assuming they check in. Let's hope they didn't just stand up from their computers and leave. And this, let me reframe us back on track for just the stakes here regarding this bracket. You see it ends. This is it. Upper final. If we win, we're through the Swiss stage. If we lose, there's more games to play, and we're at risk of dropping out. But I think the confidence in this team should not waver there. I think it's a ticket has been booked into Swiss. It's just a formality here to play Fennec OF, and once that series gets underway, we can go ahead and saddle up and get some momentum going for, I mean, the Open entirely, but some, let's finish today in the best form so that we can finish Swiss stage in the best form tomorrow.
Absolutely, and to get that advantageous seeding, and so that this wonderful Twitch chatter can put their children to bed. If it's a loss here for Fennec OF, unfortunately, they're going to be very tired on Sunday when they're woken up bright and early by their parents and they haven't had their good night's sleep. I'm sure I'm going to sleep well tonight, Quantek. I'm sure you're going to sleep well after this stream, after this round's performance, because I'm sure that they can keep us confident. We are still, once again, waiting for that Fennec OF match, but elsewhere on the bracket right now, Quanzek, there's been a matchup in this group that I've been waiting for to come together. The only real higher seeded teams with that first round bye kind of section has been Team HSK versus White Rabbit Gaming. For a majority of the rest, it's been a team with a bye, essentially guaranteed to go the full distance and have that easy way out. It was supposed to be Strive Esports, it was supposed to be Rounds, it was supposed to be Cosmico. For Team Hosky and White Rabbit Gaming, one of those teams is going to be disappointed heading into the lower side of the Swiss stage. But I've heard the greatest bit of news, Quantek. This series might just be able to begin. Check-in has gone through.
Yeah, we can do our proper recap of the rosters now. We can cover our Kenyan and Estonian temporarily rivals. In the other side of Fennec OF, Nick, Marcos, and Super Gamer 6920. I gotta put respect on the numbers at the end of the name pick.
Oh, hold on a minute.
Oh.
Our series is delayed and there are allegations being thrown towards opponents. So the admins have gotten themselves involved. So yes, they've checked in, but still there is going to be a little bit of interference, and producer is absolutely thrilled about that. He wants to... You know, what he really wanted was a break here today. I don't know if you guys are aware, but the wonderful Hazza will be heading towards the South American stream a little bit later to do some observing work when he's not doing round broadcast, when he's not with RDR Prod. He's doing worlds, he's doing majors, he's doing main streams, and hopefully some more of those start to crop up. I did see that there was one less for the APAC region especially, and I haven't heard anything yet about SSA, but with the smiles that have been on the faces of Greybeard recently, I've certainly got my fingers crossed, so to speak.
It is very nice seeing that man cheery again, hopeful of his region. Because for a long time there, it just seemed like everybody was ready to throw in the towel. There wasn't respect given over to the region. The imports were dominating everything, and so happy that we are back. But I do believe, Pig, we have burned the wick in order in terms of things to cover and fill, and
Yeah.
I have no idea how long this admin process is going to take. So we might want to take a break, but I'll go ahead and I'll see what you have to say about it.
Well, first I did want to say that Team HSK White Rabbit Gaming match has come to an end, and Team HSK took it in a sweep. That is unbelievable. Zany, Anilo, and Bigfoot versus Casper, Banana Cat, and Six. That was going to be a matchup that I expected to be a whole lot closer, but fair play to HSK. Cosmico Esports, of course, qualifying themselves to the higher sections of the Swiss with a sweep versus Nikandla style. That was somewhat expected, but these admin decisions certainly were not. Like we said, ideally don't want to be going towards breaks, but in this occasion, this is definitely an extenuous circumstance, and myself and Quanzek would like to stay informed about what is going on behind the scenes. So we'll get that all sorted out for you. Don't go anywhere. This hopefully shouldn't take too long.
What if I told you, from now on, the only thing you need for gaming is this desk? Uneven Base is a complete esports setup. It includes a powerful computer, keyboard, mouse, and monitor, all in one lightweight build. Uneven Base is foldable, portable, and easy to set up. Perfect gaming experience wherever you want. And of course, yeah, there's RGB. Uneven Base. Now it's about you.
Pidä taloutesi hallinnassa pelin sisällä ja sen ulkopuolella.
Siis mikä voi olla niin tärkeää, että äijä ei näy 2 viikkoon? Äijä on tullut takaisin. No niin, let's go. Pitkästä aikaa pelikenttä.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen.
Searching for the break of a day to follow away to you. 'Cause at the end of the day, I'm looking for no reason to change. 'Cause everything is good for you. Baby, I can see we're gonna shout it out to the sky. Tell our secrets to the night, so we can see the end inside. We're gonna shout it out to the sky. When I look into your eyes, I can see no better light, better light than love. We're gonna shout it out to the Baby, I can see we're gonna shout it out to the sky. Tell our secrets to the night, so we can see the end inside. We're gonna shout it out to the sky. When I look into your eyes, I can see no better light, better light than love. We're gonna shout it out to the sky.
Well, verification has gone through. The admins have done their due diligence to make sure that the 2/3 rule remains in full effect. Our opponents, Fennec OF, have been verified. The two Kenyans are Kenyans, the Estonian. I mean, it doesn't matter past that point. We will have a final series of the day, and for that, Quantek, I'm actually thankful.
Yep, I'm happy that we get to play, and I'm happy that the admin are adminning. There's concern of import players pretending they're from somewhere and not getting properly verified. There's not a whole lot of prerequisite for that outside of claiming. And so, happy that the admin have done their due diligence. They've verified that Fennec OF are, in fact, where they are from. And we can get ready for series number 2. It's been a long time coming. I think we've been live for about 2 hours here, Pig, and we've had one best of 5 that finished in a sweep for round.
I'll wait as long as it takes, as long as the sanctity of the region has been maintained. That's what we've been waiting for seasons over seasons now. But Fennec OF will be taking on rounds. It's a spot for the upper bracket in the Swiss stage on the line. Let's finish this day.
We'll get ready for game number 1 here. Fennec OF and rounds, and Fennec OF have some names that I don't know what to call them. We have Arthur and User, which their roster consists of actually those names. So what happened to the names we displayed beforehand? What?
The only important name has remained, and that is Super Gamer 6920. So
True.
I'm very happy about that. I'm even gladder that Renshiro has already found the back of the net in the opening seconds. Rounds do take the lead. Fennec will sit behind, and I would love to know what that OF stands for.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Fennec of fettuccine. That's I don't know why fettuccine is the only F word that popped up into my head, but you know what? That's what we'll run with. I was trying to figure out something remotely Rocket League related, but I couldn't get there. Weelu cannot get that shot over towards the net. My other question for you, Pig, is what do you think 6920 stands for in Super Gamers numbers? Usually it's like a birthday or something, but that's definitely not a birthday. And I don't know what else, like, it's just a random string of numbers that are attached to his name, and the 2 will now be attached to rounds as they get a goal that Cam has stolen from Rentro.
Well, that's 2 goal contributions from Renshiro. I'll say 6920 is going to be the points he's going to rack up by the end of this game at this rate. 2 goals down, 1 minute gone. Either that or he's a time traveler.
Oh, true. I didn't even think of that.
How could you forget, Quantek, that Renshiro is the best import player to come to SSA. Second goal already maintained. He's got a hat-trick of contributions, and Cam's gotten physical on the goal lines as well. I felt like he should be, of course, represented in that regard. It was a wonderful infield pass from Weelu. And this is the full roster coming together nicely. And I spoke about those rotations in Series 1. I know that that's your forte, but it feels like they've got every single area of the pitch covered, but they know when to step forward, get themselves temporarily out of position to just wipe a man off those lines and open up those space for players that they are confident can hold their lines if it all goes to pot.
Yeah, and this is it's proof that Rounds has definitely stayed warm, and they are just in fact the better team here. Fennec OF have not left their own half, as Weelu looking at a fourth at a negative angle, had a drop down pass, but demoed was Cam. They'll be respawning all the way at the far end. Take that 15 for the first time. Fennec have broken out of their half just to be escorted back inside. What a touch by Cam and Shiro. That would have been very good had it gone in. Instead, though, Rounds just going to hold a measly 3-goal lead rather than 4.
Flip reset there for Willie. Won't get that follow-up touch. Super Gamer will send that one long. User not going to be able to get that second touch. Cam has that awkward angle. That was heading towards the top corner, just shy of the net there. Willie already pre-jumped there by Cam. The Regional players looking to connect. Not enough boost of the tank, however, for that second ton. Renshiro gonna have to take that ball over himself, but restarted from back corner, back forward. Rounds still pounce back onto the attack. Willow through, it's Arthur.
User double all the way down to the other end. Jumped up 4. I believe the user is going to be Nick, but that's a hard association for me to continuously make in my head, so he will just go by the name of user as Renshiro. Double. Good defense there by user on the back wall. Willow pushing that one along as Super Gamer carries it out. That demo's going to open up the net. Cam doesn't have the boost to get back to it, though. And user was able to retreat in time. Willow trying to find another bump. Cam dropped down, can't get there, but the third man can. And your 69-20 points for Renshiro here, Pig, doesn't seem that far off with how much he's been contributing.
What's the percentage rates? Where are he at now? It's got to be fairly close. I believe every single goal has involved Renshiro. That's rounded off his hat trick. And Willow and Cam have been filling those spots well. 541. Oh my goodness, Quan. What a first game this has been. I mean, this is a team that is aging like a fine wine through the open. I thought this second series was supposed to be tougher.
Oh man, I love it. I love it. We can get super aggressive, super cocky and confident. I mean, rounds are showing it. They look like a great team right now. They are firing on all cylinders. 4-0. There's never been an opportunity for Fennec OF. They have a merely one shot, I believe, to their name, and they're just looking at rounds exert their will onto them as Cam's gonna find a double tap fit.
Set up there by the opponents, but it was certainly no easy task. Deceptive by how plain and simple he made it look. 5 goals for rounds. Gonna be looking for that 6th and 7th as well. Oh my goodness. I didn't mean it. Shout out to those in chat. Renshiro takes it over. Cam's waiting there in the corner right behind, but Renshiro must go alone for as long as he can. Willie will take this ball forward. Has that boosted advantage. Just bails away from the play. Is it going to take a touch too extra? No backboards required. Knows he's beaten his man.
Insult to injury here for rounds. Salt in the wound. 6-0. It's slacking for rounds as they're going to find a kickoff goal to make it 7. And we, unless FedEx scores, we aren't going to Brazil. Which, like, usually in these situations, I'll be trying to call for Brazil, but I think this one is never happening, Pig. FedEx just cannot do, they don't have any agency in this game.
I'm very interested to see those stats after this game, because I personally cannot remember a Fennec OF shot. Never mind, is that going to count as one? I don't believe that will do.
Oh no.
Ball
no
across
way.
the length of the pitch, however. There's number 8. Brazil dreams are certainly over. Perhaps a trip to Spain, but 38 seconds and 2 goals required from Fennec OF. I see that as unlikely with rounds' form. Not that I particularly want to go to Barcelona this time of year.
What's wrong with Barcelona this time of year?
It's still autumny winter here in Europe. I can't imagine it's much nicer than the UK. Okay, maybe a little bit dramatic. I'm sure it's slightly nicer, but
yes, you're talking about the UK versus Spain, my friend. What are we doing right now? It won't be a trip to Barcelona. Regardless, our 8-2 scoreline has come and gone, and now we're at a point where we're shooting for double digits in this game from rounds. Can we hit 10?
I know we're
Who's
in
gonna...
goal. I know we're in SSA here, but we've mentioned the UK, and this scoreline so far is reminding me of my home. When it rains, it pours, ladies and gentlemen, and it is pouring against Fennec OF defensively.
Is somebody going to take up the mantle of Rhino doing his Stitch impression when double digits are hit?
Oh. I don't know why you throw that one out to the broadcast. You didn't need to say that.
It may not happen. It has to be a 0-second goal.
That.
I mean, look, he would probably do it if he were here. Unfortunately, Rhino can't join us into the next open. But, yeah, I'm just trying to, in spirit, Rhino would be here. But we don't have to oh my, I can't speak. We don't have to take our stab at a Stitch impression. It will finish at 9-0. And if there's ever been a domination game, this is it. Is when Shiro actually will crest 1,000 points.
And Willie also gained 5 shots, matching that of the entire team of Fennec OF. And considering that Renshiro's adding an extra 8 to that, and Cam's got the 3 on top of it, this was an extremely offensive game for rounds. But also, if we really think about this, Quan, that is, of course, a lot of shots on the side of rounds, but still, they've maintained such a high level of efficiency. That's 16 shots with 9 goals to call for it.
I can't bring to the forefront of my mind a save that happened in that game for Fennec OF. I do not remember a blue car touching the ball before it went into their net.
I thought you were going to stop there. You were just like, oh, I couldn't picture a blue car touching the ball, and then you paused, and I was like, that's a bit brutal. I wouldn't go that far. I would not go that far, but that was a very good first game. And, well, they've had enough, Quadzek. They've had enough. Words just in, Fennec OF are going home. They're going to the losers bracket. They forfeited. Fair enough. I mean, we've waited quite some time for that matchup.
Oh, man.
And once we got it, only one game of series scoring W and FF at the bottom of our screen. Well, what a first day for rounds.
Yeah, that's, yes, clean sweep through the Swiss. They warmed up over the course of the game with 2 1-goal games back-to-back. Game 3 of our first round was very non-contested. It was 4-0 or 5-0, something along those lines. And this one, 9-0, forcing an FF. It's a weird rage bait act from Fennec OF to play a game 5, have admins check into your legitimacy, play 1 game, and then drop down to the losers after a forfeit.
Perhaps the most anticlimactic bracket I have ever seen on a team stream. Double elimination. Round 1 bye, a sweep for the second match of a straight up forfeit in the qualifier for the Swiss stage. I mean, they gave us 3 games worth of goals. I mean, 9 goals in 1 game.
True.
If that was spread across 3, we would still be saying that was a high score affair in the favour of rounds. But hopefully there's going to be goals galore and even more tomorrow, Quonsec, because with that forfeit, we will be progressing to the Swiss stage with a fair bit of seeding as well.
Yep, we will be back tomorrow. Thank you all for tuning in, and good luck to Mr. Producer Hazaman. Thank you all for tuning in. This has been the first iteration of the round's SSA coverage for Open number 1 and the opener for RDR Prod as well. Thank you all for joining us along on this project, and have a wonderful rest of your evenings.
What if I told you, from now on, the only thing you need for gaming is this desk? Uneven Base is a complete esports setup. It includes a powerful computer, keyboard, mouse, and monitor. All in one, lightweight build. Uneven Base is foldable, portable, and easy to set up. Perfect gaming experience wherever you want. And of course, yeah, there's RGB. Uneven Base. Now, it's about you.
Pidä taloutesi hallinnassa pelin sisällä ja sen ulkopuolella.
Siis mikä voi olla niin tärkeää, että äijä ei enää 2 viikkoon? Äijä on tullut takaisin. No niin, let's go. Pitkästä aikaa pelikenttä.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen.
dream just to be where